Hey everyone, it's Aaron Mook, the developer for the game Windward, and I'm going to show you what the game is all about and go through the basics. I'm going to go ahead and create a brand new world. On this page you can actually specify what kind of world you want to have, but I will stick with all the defaults. Now I can actually create a random world. I can even go ahead and draw my own map if I'm so inclined. Once I'm actually happy with the map that I drew, I can click Next and then place my factions. I can also remove factions later on if I like, but I'll just stick with this. So the different factions you can actually pick to play are the red faction, which is the Valiant. They're actually really good if you enjoy combat, because they get combat bonuses and they get bonus experience from combat as well. You can go with green, which is the console faction. They are essentially jack of all trades, but they focus on diplomacy and questing for the most part. You can go with the Sojourn, the blue faction. They are explorers, and as explorers they get certain perks, like the ability to salvage shipwrecks from the beginning of the game, for example. They also get experience from discovering towns. Then there's the yellow faction, the Exchange. The Exchange get experience bonus from trading, and they also start with more gold than other factions. In this case, I'm going to go ahead and start with the Sojourn faction. So I'm going to hop into the world, and here I am. Now when you actually start playing the game, you will be docked like this. You can learn the basics of movement, like WASD for example, or by simply pressing on the screen if you have a touch screen device, or just directing with the mouse, with the left mouse button for where you want to go. When you're actually close to town, you can click on the icon to enter this town. And when you're in town, there's a bunch of things you can actually take care of. So on the very first page is the cargo page. Here you can actually do trading. If you hover over an item, it will show you where this cargo item is actually needed. However, since I have not discovered any towns yet, I will not get the required information just yet. So I will put this on hold for the time being. The items page actually lets you buy items to upgrade your ship if you have the extra gold. I currently do not. The quests page actually lets you pick up different consignments, such as discovering towns or delivering goods. They don't require any money up front, which makes them good things to start with. On the ships page, you can actually upgrade your ship if you have the money for it. However, which ships are offered actually depends on the size of the town. In this case, the size of the town is 2, so it only offers one ship, one extra ship that is. On the rumors page, you can see, you can get helpful hints regarding which cargo items are needed where. In this case, it says that this town actually is in need of lumber, which the town I'm currently docked at has an abundance. So if you're doing trading, this is actually a useful page to examine. Well, I'm going to start just by doing a couple of quests. I'm going to start with a peaceful quest first. This is a delivery quest that I just picked up, and I'll pick up another delivery quest to a different place. Yarbury and Crabberville. You can actually right-click on the item to track it to its destination. Once you do that, you can actually click on the minimap to figure out where it is that you're supposed to go, which is just south of me. You will also notice this white line showing up. This white line actually guides you to your destination. The speed at which the ship travels actually depends on the direction of the wind. You can tell which way the wind is blowing by looking at the pennant above your main mast, or just looking at the way the clouds move. Angling your ship properly actually will give you a movement bonus, which is useful to have. Simply getting close to the town was actually enough for me to complete this particular quest. Also, as I got close to this town, there's a shipwreck nearby here, and this ability showed up. Because I'm a Sojourn player, I'm actually able to salvage nearby shipwrecks by using some wood, some stone. So clicking on this ability will make an item pop up near the shipwreck. Getting close to it will pick it up. Anyway, here I am next to another town. In this town, I can pick up more quests, such as hunt down a pirate, for example. Now, the amount of quests you can actually have at the same time depends on your cargo capacity. This ship is very small and it only has 2 cargo slots, which means I can only have 2 quests at the same time. But regardless, let's hunt down a pirate. This is a combat-oriented quest. When I accept it, a pirate will spawn somewhere and I will have to go track it. Okay, I cannot see it on the map right now, but I can follow the white line, so I'll just do that. To fight pirates, simply get close to them and face them with your sides of the ship. Your cannons will fire automatically, and you also have this powerful volley ability that you can use to launch more powerful attacks. However, in order to fight properly, you need to make sure that your sides of the ship are actually facing the enemy. If you find yourself in a tricky situation, don't be afraid to actually retreat, going somewhere else, and then repair. You can repair just by using this repair ability right here on your ship. Repairing out in the middle of the sea actually costs more wood than doing it close to the shore. If you actually simply dock in any friendly town, you will be repaired for free. Your allies will actually come and help you as well if they're in the vicinity. Here, for example, my quest was pretty much completed by a friendly ally getting close to the enemy and defeating it after I softened it up. It doesn't matter whether you defeat the enemy or your allies do, you will still get the reward. Here I was playing long enough to actually get the first starting quest. A pirate essentially captured a nearby town and I have to get it back. I will get a really nice crew for completing this particular quest. All the rewards in Windward are actually random as well, within reason of course. So your reward is probably going to be quite different. While that enemy town is present, enemies will actually keep spawning in the region and harassing you. So it's generally a good idea to capture it back as soon as you can. Also, practice using the keyboard and the mouse if you can. It'll make your life a lot easier. You can actually steer and navigate using WASD, then fire by hitting V for volley and then clicking on the enemy ship. Notice how my turns often become much wider than they normally would be. That's because the enemy is using chain shot on me. Chain shot actually makes it a lot more difficult to maneuver, but that's an ability that you will receive a little bit later. In Windward, it is quite common to be fighting more than one enemy at the same time. So again, if you find yourself in a tricky situation, don't be afraid of making tactical retreats. Although in Windward, you will not get penalized for dying in any way, other than having to run back from the town where you respawned. In this case, see, I cannot repair anymore because I don't have any more wood left. Now my options are to not repair, which is quite bad, of course, or go to a friendly nearby town. Simply docking in a friendly town will repair me for free. So my goal here is to capture the enemy town before they overrun my lands. Simply fighting pirates is, while fun, is also not going to complete that objective. I need to get close to the enemy town. Once I'm actually close to it, I will see this ring appear. Simply getting close to the ring will start the capture process. Once this bar fills up, the town will become mine again. and the pirates will not be able to spawn here anymore. However, pirates will come by and try to get it back. So be sure to either bring some friends or just defend it by yourself if you can. Once the enemies are defeated, they will not be able to spawn here anymore, and you will be able to capture the town. Now I can repair myself using wood, or I can just wait. And once the town is mine, they will repair me automatically. You may have noticed that I actually got quite a nice reward for capturing this town. That was for completing the quest. However, when you're out in the world and you're capturing towns on your own, you also get to plunder them automatically. Plundering towns is actually an excellent way of getting quite a bit of gold for yourself. In any case, here I am docked in a town, and I received the quest reward for completing this quest. I can right click and equip it, or I can just drag it to where it's supposed to go. It's all the same. I also found a hull paint that I can actually use to dye the color, or change the color of my ship as well. Here I got rid of the blue color, and my ship is slightly more customized. You can actually find all kinds of dyes and paints in Windward. You can completely change the look of your ship just by changing its colors and even the symbol on the sails. Now that I've done a couple quests, I should actually have enough gold to do some basic trading. To do trading, simply enter a town, and on the cargo field you should be able to see what's available and what is needed. In this case, I just plundered this town, so I will not have the ability to buy anything. However, I can sell things. Hovering over a desired resource will show you exactly where it can be found. In this case, it says wool can be imported from Yarbury, which is 6.4 kilometers away, which is quite close. How far away the required goods are actually changes the price of the goods as well. So you can even create a shortage of something by buying up everything of a specific cargo item, like all the wool, for example, and then the prices will automatically go up because the demand will be higher than the availability. In this case, I'm just sailing to a nearby town to pick up some wool. Here, the production of wool is actually +2, which is great. It means that there is quite a bit of wool to go around, and that automatically makes the price cheaper. So I'm gonna go ahead and buy this wool. And I don't really care about this quest anymore because it sends me to a faraway town, so I'll just destroy it. Destroying a quest abandons it, and there are no penalties for abandoning quests, so don't worry about doing it yourself. I'm also going to be going to a town called Nortonburn, so I'll see if there are any quests available that also go to the same town. Unfortunately, there aren't. Well, that's okay. So here I picked up some wool, and I'm heading back to the town I was just at. Since the town is really close, I'm not gonna get a whole lot of profit for it, but it should be a little bit regardless. How much profit you get from trading actually depends on how good your diplomacy skill is. And you can actually see your skills just on your character sheet. Your ship is your character after all. My diplomacy is not that great, however it's not that bad either. 119 in this case. Anyway, now that I'm actually in town, I can sell this for 227 gold, and I got it for 197. Excellent. Yep, 30 gold, 15%. Not too bad. Once you complete enough quests for a town or fulfill all of its demands, the town will grow. In this case, the town only has one quest to go, so I'll just go ahead and do another quest. I'll just do another Hunt a Pirate quest, because I can. And the pirates spawn conveniently close. That's nice. Remember, when hunting pirates, make sure to stay out of their line of fire. To do that, make sure that you're either in front or behind the enemy ship if you can. So here I've done a quest and the town has grown. Now it is actually a size 3 town, which means that it will offer another ship. Sloop of war, and now there's a schooner as well, which is the one step up from that. Also, since I am a Sojourn player, I get a 20% discount when buying a schooner. I can obtain it for just under 8,000 gold instead of 10,000. Convenient. Different factions have different favorite ships, so they have discounts for different ones. Like Exchange gets a benefit when buying the Galleon ship, for example, which is the ship with the largest cargo bay. In any case, let's look at the instances. An instance is essentially a private outdoor dungeon that is just for you and whoever else you choose to invite. Instances are also hand-tailored to your challenge level. So if you happen to be level 10, for example, then the instance will also be level 10, provided your equipment is good enough. There are different types of instances that you can actually choose. If you just want to do some peaceful trading and questing, there's this. And of course there's the combat one, which is when you won't just want to blow things up. I'll go ahead and hop into a combat instance. Once I'm actually in a combat instance, I can bring up the list of players and then I can invite my friends, if I have friends playing on the same server with me. In this case I don't, so I'll just not bother. In an instance, you will notice that there's a bar up top that shows how much is controlled by pirates and how much is controlled by my faction. In short, pirates control the vast majority of the region, and it is actually my job to take care of that, fix this problem, and drive the pirates out. Driving the pirates out completes the instance, and I get a nice reward for doing so. Just like any dungeon, it's probably going to take a little bit of time to do. However, keep in mind that it is not something that you can continue doing later on. If you leave an instance, then you will not be able to return to it again. Instances are just that. They're temporary. When you are done with an instance, you can go back to the world just by using the same instance button or using fast travel. With fast travel, you can actually travel to any square in the map that you have discovered, provided that you have enough talent points to do so. Here I will go back to the starting region. And while I'm actually in the starting region, there is one other thing that I should point out. You may have noticed that on the Players tab it shows that I have this up arrow looking thing. This arrow thing, it shows how many talent points I have. You may have also noticed that the same arrow shows up right here, talents. If you click on this button, you will be brought to the talent screen. And this is where you get to customize your ship's abilities further. If you want to make it tougher, you can pick reinforced hull, for example. If you want to do more damage, then there's gunner training, and so on and so forth. Once you get down to this level right here, you will actually start getting brand new abilities that are actually quite powerful. Like this, for example, Groglov Cocktail will drop an AoE effect on the ground that will damage everyone within. What's even better is if you happen to land this projectile on an enemy ship, it will follow the enemy ship and they will not be able to get out of the area of effect. Then there's abilities like this one, Fog of War, for example. This lets you drop a cloud of fog on the area and essentially put you out of combat. It's actually really useful if you're trying to stay alive as much as possible and not get killed. once you're out of combat, you can actually safely repair while remaining inside the cloud of fog. Once you actually get past 25 talent points, you'll get down to specializations. Specializations let you customize exactly what kind of ship you're going to be sailing, whether it's going to be focused on defense, offense, or support, which is your typical tank, DPS, and healer routes, basically. Let me show you a couple of other things. Let me show you what mid-level combat looks like. So here's that AoE ability that I mentioned. Actually dropped on or close to an enemy, and it did quite a bit of damage. Here my ally actually used a debuff on them, which covered them in fog. This reduces their armor, and it makes them more difficult to maneuver, as well as making them slower as well. It's a AoE debuff, basically. This ship is a mid-level ship. It's a brig of war, I believe. It's been a while since I acquired it. It does a lot of damage. It's basically a warship, a heavy warship, but don't expect it to stand up to the higher level ships like Ship of the Line or a frigate, for example. This here is a galleon, so it's still squishy enough for me to take out. As an added benefit, I actually have this water barrel ability equipped right now that is essentially a heal. Ah, my accuracy was shot as I was shot by an enemy. Reduced accuracy makes it a lot more difficult to hit targets at range. This is actually a frigate, which is a powerful warship. The nice thing about Inferno, the Grogolov cocktail, it happens to destroy enemy sails quite frequently. Once I'm low on health, I actually just use this hasty repairs ability, which is an in-combat repair on a cooldown timer. With slower ships like this, it's also generally a good idea to use chain shot on them. This prevents them from moving that quickly, and it also prevents them from turning quickly, which makes it a lot easier for a ship like mine, which is quite a bit more maneuverable, to get ahead of them and stay ahead of them, where they can only fire with their front-facing cannons. Your best bet in an instance is to capture an enemy town as quickly as possible, or failing that, at least build your own town. And yes, you can actually build your own towns in Windward as well, assuming you found an item that lets you do that. In this case, I don't actually have that. There's one other option. Every once in a while, towns give quests. Oh, and I can actually bribe pirates. Towns give quests that lets you build other towns, establish new towns, essentially. If you find yourself in a situation where you're getting attacked by superior forces, you can actually bribe an enemy, provided that you have enough gold, which I currently do not. With the abilities like hasty repairs and water barrel, it's generally not that difficult to stay alive in combat. However, as you get higher in level, it'll become more and more difficult. Here my health is actually getting quite low. I can use water barrel to douse out the flames, essentially healing myself a little bit. If I was actually specialized in support instead of defense or offense, then I would be able to heal myself more effectively. And of course, getting out of combat is generally an easy way of repairing yourself, if you're able. It looks like enemies actually have a town just south of me there. So I'm gonna go ahead and see if I can capture that. Once again, repairing in shallow water is advisable because it makes repairs cheaper. And it looks like I just ran out of wood. Yep. Not having any wood is kind of a problem, but you can actually resolve it fairly easily just by docking in a town and buying a shipment of wood. You can then salvage it to give yourself more wood to work with. I just bribed this pirate and now it's my ally. Now it'll actually help me out as well. And it's a nice large ship as well, so that worked out quite well. Well, that covers the basics for Windward. You can find it on Steam and play it yourself. Thanks for watching.